Hey guys, welcome to this video and my channel. My name is Heather. I am the owner and creator here at Wicked Whiskey Designs. And today, it's all about stripping. We are stripping cups today. This is probably the most useful video I could ever make. Once upon a time, I hated stripping cups. I put it off. I never did it. I've actually thrown cups out because I just didn't want to deal with it, because to me it was such a process. It's not. It takes 5 minutes. So if I can do this, everybody can do this, okay? So that's what we're doing today. Definitely like and subscribe this channel. It's a brand new channel. I have a ton of content on its way. And don't forget to also check down below in the description box. Any product that I use to do this, to actually strip out this cup, is listed down below. There may be a couple coupon codes down there below to save you some money, so definitely check that out. And also, don't leave without hanging out to the end for the tips and tricks section. The tips and tricks section is the tips and tricks I've learned along the way so that you can strip this cup as easy as possible. Because trust me, if I hate doing them, everybody probably hates doing them. And if I can find an easy way to do them, you should know how to do that too. So that's what that section's all about. I think that pretty much wraps up this intro. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, show you everything you need to start stripping. Hey guys, what are we doing today? We're talking about stripping. Yay. Okay, so listen, sometimes bad things happen to good cups, and it's unavoidable, and things just happen. You know, sometimes it's your fault. Sometimes it's the universe's fault. Sometimes it's the customer's fault. Things happen. And sometimes you have a cup that has no place in this universe any longer, needs to go. Cups are expensive. We don't get paid nearly enough for what we do, you know, between the creativity and the products and the personalization and the time spent away from family and holidays and resources. So, you know, once upon a time I was always like, I hate stripping cups. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to throw the cup out. And there was one time where I literally just, you know, pulled it all in, threw it all out. And then I was like, look at all that money. Look at all that money getting thrown out, okay? And I said I wouldn't do it anymore, even though, you know, in my head it's such a pain to strip cups. It's really not. And it's one of those little things like, I hate folding clothes. I don't want to do it. So you put it off, put it off, put it off. And it literally would take you 10 minutes. It's kind of the same concept when it comes to stripping cups. Like I said, whether it's your fault, the customer's fault, yes, customers make mistakes, your fault, the customer's fault, or just the universe, you know, these are a really quick, easy way to kind of recoup some of your money. There's different ways to strip cups. Some are a little more labor intensive, some have more steps, some have more waiting. I think we all know that I am not about waiting. I'm the most impatient person. If it's sitting there, it's got to get done. We got to do it fast. We got more things to do. So I'm going to show you a really quick, easy way, or how I feel is a quick, easy way to strip out cups. This cup I did for a customer. I loved this cup. Where's my camera thingy? See that little spot right there? That is a stray random piece of glitter. And, you know, obviously when going through final epoxy, you know, that's going to get caught and taken off and, you know, moved off to the side or whatever. As I tried to explain to the customer, and she was very sweet, as I tried to explain to her, you know, obviously epoxy is a rolling, you know, medium. It's a rolling entity. So even though you obviously, if that, you know, when I was epoxying this, if that was there, it would have obviously been taken care of. At some point, the epoxy rolled it on top of the letter, and it just, when it got cleaned and sent out, it just got missed, you know. Definitely not throwing shade on my husband at all, but my husband's, you know, job in the morning is to, you know, clean the cup, send the cup out, done. So he normally does catch little things like that. In this one, he didn't. Totally not his fault. I am not up at that hour of the day to go and double check, and I don't feel like I have to double check it because he does a great job. But needless to say, customer was not happy. This was a gift. Understandably, I'm, you know, unhappy. So I redid the cup for her, sent it right out, had her send back the original. Now, this is a 20-ounce skinny that's sitting in my garage for no reason whatsoever, when this is a cup that we can strip and I can use again. So that's what we're doing today. Okay. Everything you need to start your job as a stripper. This is where we're going with this. This is our cup. Now, I purposely chose a cup that is done, is you know, pretty heavy on epoxy. This isn't just like a paint cup. This is a double chunky, you know, glitter tumbler. We've got an offset decal. Like this is, you know, all things good and bad when it comes to stripping a cup. That means that because there is so much and there is a lot of real estate here, and we've got chunky glitter and double offsets and all this other stuff, there's more for the there's more to the stripping process per se, in that this isn't just wrap this up in an acetone covered paper towel and in an hour it's going to all be done because it was like an ink cup with one coat of epoxy. No, this got everything on there, multiple runs of epoxy, etc., etc. So we are going to go ahead and strip this cup, and I'm going to show you how fast, how quick, how easy it is to do this, because honestly there's no reason for you to lose money out on a cup that just doesn't work. So what we're going to do first, let's walk through what we're doing. We have acetone, okay, over here, acetone, aluminum foil, my handy dandy torch, a large zip top bag, gloves, big old craft knife that I can't live without, and paper towels. So what are we going to do? Let me walk you through it. A lot of the videos, you know me, I like playing with fire. I live and die by my torch. So a lot of videos that I've watched show basically just, you know, lightly, you know, scoring the epoxy with your knife, wrapping it up in an acetone soaked paper towel, you know, wrapping that up in tin foil, putting it in a zip top bag. That is basically what we're doing. That none of that is wrong. None of that process is wrong. The only difference we're going to use is the torch. Okay, we are going to torch out our epoxy in places because that's going to soften the epoxy and allow our craft knife, hopefully, to go all the way down to the bottom to the stainless. Because with all of the multiple runs of epoxy on this, you scoring this isn't going to do crap. Okay, you're going to barely, either you're going to cut your finger off, or you're just going to get through like just, you know, the first layer, and then you're going to have to repeat the process of stripping the cup again and again. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes, in that, you know, stripping sucks. So not to say that we might not have to do this a second run, but definitely not more than that. So our goal is to try to get this whole thing done in one run of stripping. But like I said, everyone's got their own way to do it, and this is just my way. So let's get started. First, glove up, both hands. All right, and make some space here. We're not using the acetone at this moment. We're gonna move that off, give ourselves a little real estate here. All right, here's our cup. Now, what I normally do is just sit there and just start going. Wear your PPE, by the way, and be in a well-ventilated area. And then I just run that down as far and as deep as I can, all right? And then that's how I get down to the stainless. Balance this. Don't try to, like, you know, hold this in your hand and do it. Ooh, look at that one. And by doing this, you're getting, you know, you're allowing that acetone, when it gets wrapped up, to get down to the stainless. And that's obviously what is going to, you know, help strip your cup faster and easier. Be careful with playing with knives. Do not cut yourself. We will not discuss how many times I've done that. Sorry, Kate. Now, as I get closer to my hand, as I said, I've done this before. I am pressing firmly, but also very slowly in a controlled manner, as to not completely land me in the ER today. Also, don't catch yourself on fire. And like I said before, definitely wear your PPE when doing this. You're not only, you know, working with epoxy fumes, but, you know, on fire epoxy fumes. So just take your precautions. Don't do this inside. Don't do this around your kids or your dog, or depending on how your husband's acting, I'll let you make that call. So, all right, so what we have here, hopefully you can see that, is a very well scored cup, okay? Now, even though this bottom part always seems to just pull right off in such a very lovely way, I still hit it. All right, so I think we're good. We're gonna do a little one right there. This should be a good place. We should have this as a good place. Okay, so get your stuff out of your way. Get yourself set up. Open up your zip top now. I can't tell you how many times that eludes me at the time. And this is what we're going to do. Get your acetone. Now, I normally pull off, oops, sorry, I'm shaking you. I normally pull off a good chunk of paper towel. Okay, this is, how many squares is this? I would say this is what, 2 full sheets of paper towel? Mine cut into 4, so, oh, I keep shaking you. Okay, so I have a pretty good, pretty good chunk of paper towel here. I think this is probably like 2 full sheets, maybe 3. My paper towel's cut into little mini 4, so you know what I'm saying. Anyway, a good chunk. I'm gonna ball this up, okay? I have my acetone. I am going to completely dose my paper towel. I'm kind of mush it all around. Take a cup. Make sure that you top and bottom. You're good. You're going to have real estate to do what you need to do in that. Move that down just a little bit so we can cover up that bottom. Okay, now, more important for the bottom to be covered than the top, as far as you don't have to have very much, hangover on the top. You're just trying to get it all. Okay, so we are wrapped. We tuck in our top. We got our bottom. Now, what I will do is kind of hedge my bets a little bit here. On the cups that I know have a lot going on with them, I'll add a little bit of extra. Okay. Got our tin foil. We are going to wrap this bad boy up. Hold in your top, hold down your bottom, press firmly, get everything all jammed up jelly tight. The tighter you get that, the more that paper towel is going to be forced into contact with your cup, and that's what you want. And put that in your bag. Squeeze out all your air and seal that bad boy up. Okay, so is that a lunchtime burrito? No, it is not. Now we're gonna let this sit. Normally I let mine sit overnight, no more than 2 days, because at that point the epoxy is obviously, the acetone is completely dissolved. Everything's gone, and I have made the mistake of letting cups sit too long, and then it's like everything, all the goodness and all of the work that the acetone did to take the epoxy off the cup, it's like it reverses itself and it hardens all back up again. So I let this go. Like I said, we'll come back tomorrow and unwrap this like a little Christmas present and see where we're at. Hopefully we won't have to go a second run, but if we do, we do. But I think we did good things here. So we'll come back tomorrow, see where it's at. This literally took me, let me see, where's my timer at? My timer is at 11 minutes, and that's with me, you know, going through the tutorial and, you know, fumbling around and doing the things that I do. So let's, in all honesty, say that this is going to take somewhere around, what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. So you putting off stripping because it's too much of a pain in the butt, I get it, but this is going to save you money. So, and it's also going to declutter your house if you're anything like me. We're going to let it sit. We'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay, so here we are, day 2. We are all still wrapped up. Put your gloves on. Let's see where we're at. Unwrap your tumbler. Get that out of the way. It's like unwrapping a burrito, but not as fun. All right, let's see here. Ooh, look at all that. See, that's where we put the cuts in. Look at all that. Ah, yes, fall off. Just fall off. All right, let's be smart about this in a way of keeping things together. This is why you're wearing gloves. Just start pulling off these falling off pieces. And this is why we use the torch and get that blade all the way down to the stainless. Because without using a torch, I don't really know how you're going to get down to the stainless, especially if you have a cup that's extremely, you know, heavily glittered. Look at that. What? It's like we've done this before or something. Now, not everything is going to come off probably as easily as we hope, especially where you get to the point where you have the name. Might have to do a little, offer a little assistance. Hold on one second. Let's get off as much as we can here by hand. Come on. Look at that, just fall right off. Like I said, that's why I use the torch on this first. That's why I put all those little cuts down to the stainless. What glitter tumbler? What? Isn't that perfect? Look at that. So perfect. Okay, so what do we do now? Let this sit out. You know, obviously it's covered in acetone and reaction and XYZ. So I normally just let this sit in my garage for, you know, like a day or two, or literally until I need it. And then I would just take a sanding block or the electric sander and just, you know, sand it down and you're good to go. Like it couldn't be any easier. And it took all of, like, you know, 5 minutes worth of work wrapping it up. This is where we're at. How freaking awesome. Hey guys, what's up? Ah, isn't it glorious? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it sexy? I hate stripping cups. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. But I'm going to be honest with you. Now that I have kind of, you know, figured out my own little technique on doing it, or I should say tweaked existing techniques, it goes by so much faster. Like you saw in the video, I think it took me all of 5 minutes to strip this cup out, or set it up to be, you know, stripped out. And if I can take 5 minutes, you can take 5 minutes. It literally, you know, it's just that easy. And there's really not much to go over, but using the torch to soften the epoxy on that cup and be able to like really drill down with those cuts down to the stainless, to me, that's the secret in stripping this cup out as fast as it did. Because when I tell you that that cup had epoxy on it, it did. I mean, it was a double mid chunky glitter ombre and an offset, was it an offset or a double? I think it was like a double offset decal which means that cup didn't go, leave this house with just 2 runs of epoxy on it. That cup had multiple thin layers of epoxy on it. So there was a lot for it to strip off. My suggestions, I use the large Ziploc bags, and I will reuse those aluminum foil sheets that the aluminum foil as much as I can until I can't use them anymore, especially like the aluminum foil. I have like a little section, and like when I took this out, I went ahead and just folded up my aluminum foil in my little zip top bag, and I have a little drawer, and I put it back in my drawer, and that's my little stripping material drawer. And that way you're not wasting. You don't need to use, I use this zip top bag, I have to go grab another one for the next one. No, you can just keep reusing that until for some reason you can't any longer. And like I said, the aluminum foil I use, I think probably 2 or 3 passes, and then it's too much. It gets too ragged. But, just grab yourself some acetone from Walmart. I mean, we have in our house, like big, I think they're like a big gallon of it for like, I don't know, $19. Because my husband, cleans the cups and whatnot with that as well. But just grab acetone, either online or from Walmart or something like that. Paper towels. I grab cheap paper towels for whatever we do around the house in regards to the tumblers. Because my husband is that guy that likes everything perfect and clean and orderly. And he's married to me. Perfect and clean and orderly. So like in the morning, he grabs all the cups to get cleaned to be packaged and sent out. And he's got, 2 big long sheets of paper towels on the kitchen counter. And okay, well, homeboy, you're like, using up all my good paper towels here. So I just get cheapy ones from Walmart, like for, I don't know, 60 cents or whatever. You don't need anything fancy to strip a cup. So don't be breaking out the Bounty for that, okay? Just go get a cheap roll of paper towels. You're good to go. Just be sure to wear your gloves, okay? When you're using your torch especially, make sure you have PPE on. I did not, simply so that you could hear what I was saying, okay? One time without it is not going to kill me. And as we've seen, I'm really bad about, using PPE in these videos anyway. In my real life, my personal life, I use it, but I also think it's important to be able to share with you so you understand what I'm saying. So I do forego it for these videos. So don't yell at me on that. But definitely wear it when you're using a torch and heating up epoxy. Absolutely be sure to protect yourself in that respect. But using that torch on that epoxy and being able to soften that so that you can run that blade all the way down to the stainless, that's what helps you not have to, strip this cup 2-3 times. And without doing that, okay, without heating up and putting those long lines of cuts in the epoxy, what I would find would happen, especially on things where they weren't just regular ombres, like they were cups like this where they had multiple layers of epoxy on it. No matter how thin, it's still multiple layers of epoxy. So, definitely, be mindful of that. But what I was finding was happening is I would, kind of score it I would, heat it up real lightly and just kind of score it a little bit. And I would, go through my steps. And then when I unwrapped it, it was still like, I still had to send it back again. So maybe it got like a little bit off, but it wasn't going all the way down to the stainless. And that's when I was like, well, I'm going to start attacking you with my torch, because I believe in fire. So when I started going real hard with that torch and then making sure those scores got all the way down to the stainless, just takes one time to strip it out. I'm not having to rewrap it with acetone paper, towels and aluminum foil and let it sit for another day or so. It's just one time and we're done. And that I'm down with. Time. You want to let this, I usually let it go like, 24 hours. I'm not sitting there with a stopwatch and timing it out, but I'll let it go for a day. Whatever it is, and when I do it the next day, I'll take it out. If you let it go longer than that, okay, in my experience, what happens is all of the goodness that it does, it reverses. I would have cups that were not complicated. They were just like, let's say 2-tone ombres or whatever, that should have stripped out easily. And if I set this up to strip and then say I got busy or I forgot about it and I went back to it 2 or 3 days later, all of that acetone is gone. And now everything that once would have just peeled right off just kind of seems to solidify back again and get hard again. So definitely be mindful of that. That's just my experience. That may not even be a thing. We have learned that in my world, you know, weird things happen. So maybe it was just me, but in my experience, that's what happens. So if you are going to be stripping your cup, just kind of be mindful of tomorrow, you know, I have time to come and take it out of its casing. You know, don't start stripping a cup on Monday if you're getting on a plane Tuesday morning to fly off on vacation. So just kind of be mindful of that. Other than that, like, that's it. Like, these little things are easy to do. I still hate doing them, but honestly, it's 5 minutes. So save yourself the money, because let's be honest, we don't get paid nearly enough to do what we do. And these things are expensive. You know, if you're in business and you're making a 50% return on your items, okay, this is $7 tumbler, $6 tumbler, $6. So definitely, and I will say this, okay, this is the way that I strip my cups. The only other way that I will strip a cup, and this is probably really bad, but whatever, if, hypothetically speaking, you print out all of your orders for the week to work on and your printer jammed and one order didn't print out and it's due tomorrow and you just found it and you're like, what the, and you go and your new Tumbler order hasn't come in yet, and you look and you have 120 skinny sitting there waiting, just needs to get stripped, but you need it now. If you put your PPE on, use your torch. I've done this. I have used my torch, okay, heated up the entire cup, all right, and then just go in and start drilling down in an area, get your knife, run it under. You can start peeling all of your epoxy, your glitter, your everything off of your cup just in one sitting without the acetone, without the waiting. You just have to, like, literally just bang at it with that torch, your craft knife, and just start slowly peeling it all off. You can do that. I have had to do that in emergency situations, but it's not my favorite way. So definitely something you can do though. But honestly, wrapping it up, 5 minutes, putting it off to the side, coming back to it tomorrow, it's all done. To me, this is the easiest way to strip a cup. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to check out my community tab on the Wicked Whiskey channel page. It's where I have, like, my little fake Amazon store. I might make like 5 cents if you buy something off of there. But all of the products that I use in my everyday Tumbler life that I get off of Amazon, that's where those links are. They're affiliate links. So like I said, if you purchase something through it, I make like 5 cents. I'm okay with that. I just like to share with you the things that I use, because I have a lot of people ask, you know, what do you use for this? What do you use for that? And that way, all of those little items are right there. So that pretty much takes care of everything. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had fun with this video. I hope I was able to teach you something or show you something maybe you didn't know. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And that pretty much is it. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.